Morning, welcome to the video. So it is Monday the 3rd of March and the weekend's been brilliant and the weather for this week is going to be fantastic by all accounts. Really nice sunshine, no rain or anything. However, everything there's always a caveat. The caveat is because there's no cloud, there's obviously lovely days, but no cloud at night means frosts. So what that does mean is that if you are looking to start at 8 o'clock, 8:30, there's always a chance that actually you probably won't be able to. So that's the kind of the caveat to the good weather. But we will make the most of it. And what it actually means is in the morning, for me today, I've spent the morning just emailing. Just setting up the next couple of weeks of work, replying to clients, because obviously we had such a great weekend. What that means is people go out in their gardens. So I always see a correlation with the first decent weekend and an influx of potential clients. So I've just had an opportunity to get back to all of them, just explaining that we are, it's a very busy time of year. We very close to capacity already because the majority of our clients have stayed on. But we'll definitely get round, measure up, give them a quote, and even if it's a case of we can do the treatments for the moment, but we probably won't have time for the scarifying this season, we'll try and work with them as best we can. But equally, I don't want to say yes to work that I cannot do, and I don't want to be taking on so many clients that actually I can't find the help I need, and then it's got to June and those springtime ones still haven't been done. Because of course what you have to remember about this industry is if you're doing 4 treatments or 5 treatments or whatever, however many you do per year, there's a cycle of them. So whenever you start them, the idea is as soon as you finish that, get through that list, you then start the next cycle. You then start the next cycle. Now, however many treatments you do, if you do more than 4 treatments, you're not going to have the full quarter to do that treatment. You're going to have less time. So if you do 5 treatments, you're going to have slightly less time to fit them all in. So there is a sort of a stopgap where, on a certain date, your spring times have to finish because the summertime has to start. So that's always something to bear in mind when the phone's ringing off the hook. Now, if you can get the help, and you want to take somebody on or whatever, then that's great. But if you can't, or you haven't found that person yet, I would just be careful and not let your eyes light up too much when the phone goes off the hook, as it does this time of year. Also, of all those new clients that do come in, some of them aren't going to be right for you. And I think that's, certainly once you've got to a stage, you then look at the lawns and then you start deciding who you want to work for. You meet the people and you decide who you want to work for. It shouldn't be the other way around. So that's what I've done this morning. It's about 9:30 now. It's still, I'd say, in the shade, very frozen. Where the sun's been, it's melted, it's defrosted, it's great. So 2 lawns today. Friday's lawn I'm going to be back at. If you remember, I need to spray the back garden. So actually just waiting that bit for the frost to clear will be good, because there's high hedges and high hedges create shade. So it's that area there. We can't just do this area of the lawn and not that bit. And then just up the road for a full cut, first cut of the year, and then a treatment as well. So iron treatment. So we'll have the pedestrian sprayer. If you remember in last week's video, I cleaned it all out, cleaned out the filter in the back. I had a few questions or a few people asking if they could see a bit more of this and the workings of it, etc, etc. So we'll try and go through that on one of the jobs anyway. So yeah, cool. Right, well, for the minute what I'm going to do is just mix up some more iron for today's job. So I will probably still have to mix up on site, but get those mixed up, get loaded, then get to the job, and then I'll see you there. Just mixing up the iron, and can you hear this? That's frozen iron. So just obviously the dregs which were left in the cans, which were empty cans left in the van. So just need to wash those out a little bit. Only forgot to charge my sprayer. So perfectly plugged into the house. lawn cut, stripes, etc. So that's the front done over this side. So this is like it's like a Friday on a Monday, and here we are over here. Bit more shaded here, but there you go, there's some stripes down. This is cutting setting number 4 on the hater, and I've probably taken a box off all the lawns. So just gone over this lawn. Now the back's cut as well. I'll show you that when I'm around there. I'm facing the sun so you can't see the stripes, but I have just gone over this, and I've got to say, I know that in particularly last year and so far this year, really it's just all about the weather. Even last week's video was just weather maps and moaning about the weather, but you've got to appreciate days like this when they come around, because if anything, the last year in lawn care has shown these days don't come around too often when you know, I'm in a jumper, it's not too hot, it's not too cold, it's brilliant. So I think it's really important that you take stock and you just take a moment to just go, hey, it's days like these which are why we work outside. Okay, so here's the back. There was a few leaves down and stuff, so I've cut it on setting 2 with the Cub Cadet. Just getting some stripes in. Normally, traditionally, what I do is during the season is I cut diagonals, but during the winter, just to mix it up, I cut straight up and downs. Just stands it out. Now you can see that the moss is already turning, so it's kind of going that brown colour. Really nice lawn. If you remember when I first came here, all these trees these had been massively thinned out, and then there was a number of trees in that island which basically made a massive roof. So this was just complete moss, really. There was plans to do some work to it, but then they looked at other things with the patio, etc. So kind of doing any work to the lawn got put on hold, but they're not going forwards now. So yeah, I've got the go ahead to look at it. You can see it turning as I'm talking. Yeah, so I've got the go ahead to give it a go. Good morning. So it's Tuesday today, and I've got a full day of sort of local small, so the smaller lawns that I didn't get to last week, which were local. I would say a good half of them are going to be mowing and iron treatments, and the other half are just the iron treatments. However, it is not only a beautiful day in the neighbourhood, it is -3 degrees. So we're not going to be doing any mowing or any iron at this stage. However, what I do need to do is just get the van swapped over for some of these smaller lawns, which are going to need a smaller mower. So we will go with the Hater Pro 41. I've got one new lawn for this year, which I'll probably end up doing next week. But I think certainly the front lawn, I'm going to have to begin with, I'm going to have to use the Ego battery mower, just because of its sort of, it's going to be a very tricky one. But I'll show you more about that when I'm there, and why I think I'll go with the battery mower. And the back garden should just be a 56 Pro, nice and easy, nice and flat, good access. So yeah, so at this stage, as I say, I'm just going to go and get things sorted out for the rest of the day. Van swapped over, and I will see you at the first lawn, whatever that may be, whenever that may be. We'll in time talk about the sprayer and how it works and everything, but just one thing to bear in mind is this button turns it on. So when you get to the end of the stripe, you flick this button and it turns it off. Now there's no safety feature here, so if someone walks through the garage and they just put their hand down like this, it's spraying up, it's spraying down, it's potentially spraying out, it's spraying in every single direction. So I mean, this is currently in my garage because I need to charge it, I need power. I can't have it up in the container while I'm using it on a daily basis. So what I tend to do is just put a lid over the top and a bit of duct tape just to hold it in place. It just means that if one of my kids walks through, they can't accidentally turn it on, because if they walk past, turn it on, and then go through into the house without realizing the contents of whatever's in there. I mean, there isn't much in there, but the contents of what is in there is going to just be going up, hitting the ceiling, and just causing the right mess. So that is one thing to think about. The other option is to disconnect the battery, but it's a lot of faff. Okay, so just back at this fortnightly first cut of the year. You can't really see it. It's, I have just sprayed it for iron now, so you can see that kicking in. Yeah, it's not pretty because it's never had any lawn care, but we're going to start putting some treatments on it this year and trying to improve it. I've already done one, didn't show you that one just because it now my phone stopped working, so lost all signal, mainly because I changed my bank account this year and there's some issue, so I need to reactivate it, but I can't reactivate it because it hasn't got any freaking signal, so I need to go home. Fortunately it was just around the corner, just to be close enough to the Wi-Fi to reactivate the phone for it to work. So I should do that and then go on to the next one. Okay, so you remember this one from last year, so we've got this one and then we've got next door as well, so we're going to cut both and we're going to do an iron treatment on both. So yeah, nice and easy, just park up here and move them around. Okay, so there we go, that's taken about 12 minutes to stripe it up, trim it, blow it all off and then put some iron down. Onto the next one. Obviously nothing can be that easy that you can just go from one house to the next house and then cut and spray and then be done in half an hour. The client on the other side has not unlocked his gate. Second time that's happened. So I might be able to come back later if he's home. Certainly won't have time. Might have time on Friday, perhaps, to come back. If not, it'll have to fall onto next week. So yeah, nothing can be too easy, can it? Just before I left, I emailed the client just to say gate is locked. He apologised. Apparently there was some kids dicking about, so they locked the gate late last night, having opened it for me. So and then I forgot to do it in the morning. So he'll be back in soon enough, so I'm going to just carry on, do the rest of the route, then pop back. Fortunately everything's close to the house, so it's not a major drama. Okay, so you remember this lawn, there you go, very mossy and struggling, but what you have to see is that the sun rises there, so the sun comes up, it goes round, it goes round, it goes round, it goes round, and then it comes down there. So it's, I don't know, about 12:30, 1 o'clock. So this is, and bearing in mind that obviously we've had the equinox now, so all winter this is the most amount of sun it would have had on it. So you can see why it's struggling, because of the moss, because of the shade, struggling with moss because of the shade. So anyway, we can do the iron treatment in a minute. There is talk of a tree surgeon coming in, just trying to thin these trees out a little bit. It was thinned out massively last year, just to try and thin them out a little bit more, just to try and get more light on there, because they're always going to be struggling. Problem is, obviously in the summer the sun does go higher and it's up for longer, so you might get that sun on the lawn, but this stuff here obviously in the summer will have leaves on, so the canopy thickens up. The sun goes higher, but the canopy thickens up, so you sort of, it sort of neutralizes the effect, if you like. So it is what it is, and these are the battles that we have to deal with. It isn't just a football field in the middle of a park where it has maximum amount of daylight. It's a garden, and particularly these new builds, because you know, I've got properties where you've got the new build now. If you've got a hedge, you can reduce the height of the hedge, but if the shade is created by your neighbour's garage or your neighbour's house, there's nothing you can do about it. So you can overseed regularly with shade tolerant seed, but it's never going to be perfect. But anyways, better than AstroTurf, right? Okay, what you can see now is a picture of this current lawn I'm on. The final cut I did in December, just before Christmas, and what I'll do is I'll take the picture away now, and now you can see it after its first cut of the year. It's a bit difficult because of the sun, I appreciate that, There you go. So I'm going to spray this with iron just to give it a bit of a colour. There's a little bit of moss in there. Obviously you can see the house creates a massive bit of shade. So yeah, so there we go. Another one ticked off the list. Okay, I'm going to spray the lawn with iron now. One thing I have done is I've just brought my trainers through because this porcelain is brand new. I say brand new, it was put down last year, but the end of last year, September time. This is actually exactly the same porcelain as what we put down in our patio, and we regretted it straight away. I think it's really, really good if you've got AstroTurf, but I mean, look, you can, these are my steps where I've just stepped on the lawn and off the lawn. It just shows the mud so easily. It's there's nothing you can do. I've blown that off. I'm not watering, I'm not hosing the whole patio down every time I walk across it. It's a big regret actually, having done it. I don't know what the clients feel about it here, but it is an absolute pain. So yeah, I don't want to be the one who stains it, so I've brought some trainers for that reason. So that lawn I've just done, for those of you that watch the videos regularly, you'll know on a Thursday I do 3 regular lawns. The smaller one of those 3, the gardener that I met there, she actually gardens at this property that I've just done, and she was the kind of the contact or organised me coming into to meet these people to look after their lawn. So that was great. She also passed on my details to somebody else in the local area. It's all close to the house, so it's brilliant. Quite a big garden, I'd say. Well, not really, but medium-sized garden, let's say. So I went round in the autumn to, it was before Halloween, yeah, so it must have been early October probably. I only know that because I sent them the quote and then I saw them the following day at a pumpkin patch. Anyways, I went there, and when I went to quote, the lawn was cluttered with the contents of their shed. So I just sort of said, "Oh, having a clear out, are you?" And she said, "Well, actually, we're getting rid of the shed and we're having a home office put in." And I said, "When's that happening?" She said, "Oh, sort of next week." And I said, "Okay, well, hang on, before I come in and aerate and feed and do all these types of things," I said, obviously you've got stuff all over the lawn, so when they take the shed apart, they're going to take the shed apart and it's going to be spread all over the lawn until it's all cleared up and put away. And then when your home office comes in, it will come in boxes, I assume, to which they will then spread it all over the lawn as they put it back together. So I said, what I'll do is I'll send you the quote, so you know what it is. I said, if you're happy to go forwards, approve it. Then what I'll do is I'll wait for you to then get back in contact with me to say that they're all done, they're clear, the lawn is clear, and we're good to go. So that happened. Didn't really hear too much. Then I got an email just saying, they plan to do some other stuff, so it's taken a bit longer than expected. Fine, I said, no worries. Then it kind of got on that we sort of really missed the boat and we're getting on to Christmas, and I'd sort of really run out of days. So I just said, look, I'm out of days now, so what I'll do is I'll reconvene with you in the new year. I'd look to be in February time. So sent an email at end of February, to be fair, but still February, saying, this I'm ready to come in now, etc., etc. To which I got an instant reply saying, "Oh God, sorry, I feel terrible. I didn't realise you were coming in. I've asked the gardener to do it. I'm so sorry. I feel really bad. I'll let you know if anything changes." And I was just like, it's already a bit of a headache anyway. So I said, "Yeah, fine, no worries. Just let me know if anything changes." You get a sense with some people. Anyways, I then 5 minutes later got another message saying, "I've spoken to the gardener and I've told him that I didn't basically can't do the lawn, and you can do it if you want to." I was like, I mean, literally, I haven't even crossed your name off the list yet. Yeah, fine, whatever. Then I got another message back saying, "Are you going to be doing the scarifying, or do you want the gardeners to do the scarifying?" I was like, no. The invoice or the quote that you approved was for 4 or 5 seasonal treatments plus scarifying and aeration. You've already approved this. "Oh, right, great, brilliant. Yeah, okay, fine." Then I got a message last night. Are you going to top dress, or are you going to want the gardener to do that? Because he can do that. I was like, well, I don't even know if it needs top dressing yet. Last time I saw it, the grass was really long with stuff all over it. So it's just like, just cool your jets. Let me spray the iron, and then we'll take it from there. So anyways, we're off to that one now. Who knows what we're going to come and go up against. We might find that they've actually astroturfed the whole back garden. Who knows? Ooh, suns in the eyes. What a nice thing to have. Okay, so we're at the property now. I've just sprayed it actually. The gardener who I know, who's got me this job, was here. Turns out they have two gardeners. One is her, who does the light stuff. Then they have another gardening company who do the hedges and cut the grass and all the sort of the heavier side of the gardening stuff. So I got here, lawn had been cut, surprisingly. There were lots and lots of footballs and balls all over the place. But other than that, it's actually gone quite smoothly. So this is the lawn. I've shown you this way around because you can't see it. And as you can see, it is literally just moss and weeds. That's all it is. But sometimes these lawns are quite good because you can't do anything but improve it. So yes, we've sprayed all the moss, and we'll come back in a few weeks' time and scarify it. And then I'll ask if she does want it top dressing and seeded, etc. But there we go. Okay, you might remember this one from last year. This was one that was turfed by, I don't want to say a rogue trader, but he kind of didn't come back. He didn't complete the job. He told her all about this turf that he was going to get from Ireland. It was going to be the best turf used on golf courses. Essentially, it was turf from Rollon, and he bought it from a house that sells rolls of turf. A couple of miles away, if that. So essentially that area there was pure POA. So obviously once it was growing, before it had its first cut, it was just all seed heads, all that area down there. And then there was a couple of sections in there which were just seed heads and nothing else. Morning. So Wednesday, and we wake up to another heavy frost, which actually is perfectly fine. What it does mean is that the lawns are drying out quite nicely because we're not having any rain. It does delay the start of the day, but however today I've got school assembly, so actually it doesn't matter too much, and I've got those quotes as well.
Hello, you're about to listen to a BBC
hello to you too.
podcast.
So one thing I do in the times like this is batteries. I keep them in the utility room overnight, especially if I'm charging them. And then also what I'll do is then, rather than the section where they fit in the back, quite often they can be quite cold, so what I will do is just bring them in, put them down in the passenger footwell, have the heater on, just to keep them that little bit warmer, so when I do need to use them, should I need to use them, although I'm only doing iron today, there might be a little bit of leafage or something that just needs being dispersed from the lawn, so I can get access to the grass. And otherwise, if there's a big patch of leaves for whatever reason and you spray over them, then you blow them away or whatever, you then end up with a light patch. So it's very important to get that cleared. Okay, so it's an absolutely stunning day today. Not too cold like last time. So we've got volunteer over there line marking the pitches, and then we've got another volunteer over there mowing. So all I'm doing now is, we've spoken about the areas that we're going to drill seed. We're doing the middle of the 2 foot 11-a-sides. So areas like this, I'm just quoting to either turf or top dress or a bit of both, depending on the severity of it. There's a big word. And so some part pitches in the worst areas, and then over the top here we'll be looking to do a full drill seed, a full 9, 7 and 5. The 9-a-side down the bottom is completely wet, the goal mouth, so this pitch up here has took one hell of a battering. So this is the worst pitch by far. It's quite solid. I know it looks muddy, but it's quite solid, so we'll be looking to do multiple passes on this one. with regards to kind of seeding and top dressing the goldmouth, it's actually not that bad. Last season they moved it back, or moved it forwards from that area. I didn't bother dressing it because it was off the pitch. So actually, as far as isolated areas go, there isn't really anything on here, because this full pitch will get a good going over. So it's early afternoon now. I'm at my first actual job of the day, and I've gone to get the knapsack sprayer out. It's not there. So it's although not that big, but it is a relatively simple garden. So I think I'm just going to have to go with the this. Talk about using the sledgehammer to crack a nut. Annoying. Too far away to go back as well. Okay, so this is the lawn I've just done. Honestly, with the spreader, I took 1, 2, 3, 4 passes. So yeah, it didn't take long, but never mind. The next lawn's a bigger lawn, so that's why I brought the sprayer for that one. So yeah, everything's okay. Okay, I'll just show you this lawn here. I've been doing this lawn for, God, nearly 10 years. It's not particularly well looked after. It's not cut regularly. The client wants it scarified in the springtime, and that's it. We do nothing else. And essentially, depending on how much moss there is, but depending on whether you've had a really wet summer or not, every time I come there's different things on the lawn. So you've got that matting there, and it's massively compacted all the way around. You can see where the hedge has been cut, but the leaves are still on the floor from autumn, or from the hedge, plus the leaves from autumn are all down. Yeah, don't really know too much what to say about this. I've tried to, over the years, push him for him to, or somebody to do regular cuts, regular tidy ups, seasonal lawn care, as opposed to just one treatment a year. But it's not for him. It's not what he wants. He wants it scarified in the springtime, and that's all he wants, and he's happy for that, and he's happy to pay that, and he's really impressed with the results. So you go with it. As I say, I've been doing this for about 10 years now, and most of the time I try and explain the benefits of doing a little bit more, but he sees no value in that. So you just respect that, and you do the service that you're required to do. And I know every year that I've got essentially a good day in this garden. Okay, so third lawn of the day. So we did have time for this one. If I didn't, it would have moved on to Friday. So this whole area up to kind of that tree there, all done. So I had some iron in there, so basically it's taken me exactly an hour to spray all this and mix up the stuff that I needed. I had a little bit mixed up, so not bad. I can't remember the square meterage off the top of my head, but I'll put it in. As I say, it's basically taking a line along the hedge, just by one pass behind that tree, in front of that tree, and then round, sort of around the flowers and around the hedge line. So yeah, 1 hour to do all that with, so not bad. Morning, so it's Thursday today, so another beautiful day, and no frost of any real note, so that's great. We can crack on straight away. We haven't got to wait for the lawns to defrost. So, crazy busy week. There's always that kind of one weekend, I always say, during the year where the phone just goes mad. It's really started last weekend, and it's sort of gone all the way through this week. If you remember, just before Christmas I went and quoted quite a large aeration job. Didn't hear anything. Spoke to the gardener about it, and he said, I don't know what's going on. Spoke to the gardener again. The gardener said, yeah, he's got it. I think he's just waiting for it to, it's got too wet now, so I think he's just waiting. So I've now had a couple of messages from him yesterday and last night saying, I've called you, why haven't you called me back? It's like, all right, mate, I've been trying to get hold of you for 3 months. So anyways, I'll have to speak to him at some point. Unfortunately for him, he's possibly missed the boat for regular mowing now, because if we'd sorted it in December or January, I could have moved people around. But now I've kind of like gone in and started cutting their lawns. it's harder to do that. So you need to be a little bit more organised than that. You can't just phone up when you decide you want your lawn cut and want it cut. It's, you know, it's going to need cutting, so you need to sort of preempt that because otherwise I can't wait around for some guy who's not got back to me in 3 months in case he might get back to me. So I have to take on new clients. I have to plug those gaps. So I'll speak to him and see if we can work out some way of doing something, because it's local. It's a really good job, but it's just I'm a little bit frustrated that he's left it 3 months until now to put his finger out. Anyways, right, good day today. All the lawns are all really close to each other. They're all iron treatments except one, which will be a mowing and iron treatment. It's essentially, all I do is whenever I go there for a treatment, I always take the mower and the strimmer and give it a cut. Okay, so forgot to film at the first one. This is the second one. If you remember last year, I'll try and include a photo or a video or something. Last time I saw this had membrane down, or germination fleece down, all from the back all the way round to there. So yeah, it looks as though the grass has come up nicely. Yeah, this one's coming up good. Okay, so you'll see this video has been in, see this property, it's been in a few of my videos over the years. This is the 11th year I am starting on this property, keeping it all in good shape. Okay, so this is in a better condition than when I last saw it. If you remember, there was a hell of a pathway through there, so we aerated that, and it was ridiculously long. So we got the height down as well, so a lot of dog burns and things like that, but ultimately not bad. I've seen it a lot worse, but then I've seen it a lot better. There was a period when I looked after it regularly and it looked decent. I'll try and include a photo now of what it looked like when I looked after it regularly, and yeah, here we are now. Okay, so Friday, there was talk of rain this morning, but we haven't had anything. It has just clouded over actually, like very recently, but there you go, back at this one. I was going to do an iron look, so I've cut it for the first time this year. I was going to do an iron treatment, so it's about 1:30 now, and actually my hand's really beginning to hurt for the first time this week. Although I've pretty much been spraying most of the time. I mowed a little fortnightly just before I came here. Hands begin to hurt a little bit, so what I'm going to do is go on to a Thursday lawn, the one with the John Deere tractor, and the plan would be probably just to give it a bit of a cut because it hasn't been cut this season, and it's as dry as it's going to get. So yeah, and just have a look and see what's going on there. I need to speak to the client, discuss a few things which could be quite cool for the channel and for me, but that is a long way off yet, so we'll just wait and see on that one. As soon as I left the last property and made my way to the last mowing job, it actually started to rain, believe it or not. Not much, but it put a bit of pressure on to get the grass cut just in case it was going to start raining. So yeah, nice easy day on the mower, or afternoon on the mower there, just sitting down, driving around. So that concludes this week's video. Next week's going to be a little bit all over the place, in the sense that I've got the final kind of iron treatments, and then a final kind of a couple of sort of winter cleanups and things like that. And it's really just a case of just getting everything, all those little jobs tied up, ready for the following week, which is for me the start of my kind of proper lawn care season. Now, depending on the weather and things like that, the first 2 days will be at the football ground doing some weed killing and things like that. But we'll just have to see. With weed killing, it's all about the weather. So yeah, it's nearly go time. Anyways, remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz, and I shall see you next week.